Good morning and welcome to the voiceover Q&A, which is what we do every Friday morning. And by the way, just a quick apology. You may have seen the stream was about to go live. And when I hit the live button, as happens every now and then with YouTube, the platform glitches. It takes me, it gives me a message that says try again. Problem is, you can try again, but the original stream is still going and I can't access it. It happens once every few weeks. It's kind of frustrating, but that's just part of dealing with YouTube. So my apologies for that. But I'm back. I'm here. All good. Ready for the next Bears game. We've got my grandson's got a football game this Saturday. We've got a big weekend. Big weekend planned. Hope you guys do as well. Hope things are going well for you. My name's Bill DeWeese. I am a professional voice actor, voiceover talent. This is what I've done for a living for the past 18 years. In addition to that, I'm also a voiceover coach and demo producer. And my latest book is called Get Paid Using Your Voice, Get Found, Get Heard, Get Hired. Link below to that in the description. So, guys, what's going on? Hope you've had a good week. Has it been a good week? I hope so. And if not, I hope you'll use it for fuel to motivate yourself in the upcoming week. Um, it's a big transitional week weather-wise. I know a lot of people have been, and maybe not for everybody, but for a lot of us. And I'm on the very back end of whatever kind of bug has been going around. Vicky had it, and then I got it, and I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well. And if something's nipping at your heels, I hope it'll leave you alone. That's my wish for you today. Now, what we do on Fridays, again, as I mentioned, Q&A. So this is your chance. This is just Q&A. It's popcorn Q&A. You give me a question, and I mean, I can't time to get, I can't teach an entire course on a question, take a half hour or so to do that. But what I can do is give you some quick answers to your questions to point you in the right direction. And that's what I want to do this morning. So as you check into the live chat, let me know where you're watching and listening from. Please let me know what your question is, and we'll see what's going on. We got Joe checking in from the UK. Hey, Joe, how you doing? You have a great weekend as well. Thanks. Hey, John in Denver. Good to see you as always. Galen in Carrboro, North Carolina. I finally bought the book. Looking forward to reading some today. Fantastic, Galen. Let me know what you think. For those who are thinking about this, if you're brand new to voiceover, like you're just kind of getting started and you're trying to think, piece of gum stuck to it, but at least it color matches. That's good. You're wondering a good place to start, a really good place to start, very inexpensively is if you want the digital download of this, it's less than $10, and this will give you like the high level view of the business, like the 9 main steps to get found, get heard, and get hired. And it will set you on the right path, and it will debunk a lot of the weird stuff that you hear online, because there's a lot of weird, bad advice going on. And if you're going to take advice, make sure the people you listen to have been doing this for a while and are currently successful, not used to be successful like back in the 80s or the 90s, but are doing it right now. And those are the people, and there are some out there. You may have to dig, but there are a few out there, and listen to what they have to say. Let's see here. That brings us to David in Hamilton, Ontario. Hey, David. Marla, hi there in Texas. Joy, what's going on? Mary in New Jersey. Ethan says, I just finished your book, Get Paid Using Your Voice, and it was a great read. Thank you. Well, Ethan, thank you. I appreciate the kind remark. Melissa checking in from San Diego, Nephi in Knoxville, John in Rhinebeck, Wayne in Port Orchard, Washington. By the way, let me just quickly say that usually I would say there's a link below in the description, but the thing is, once YouTube trashed my last video and had to start from scratch, I didn't take the time to do all the, it's to fill in all the stuff and give all the information. So if you refer back to any video prior to today, you're going to find links to all that stuff. Sorry for the inconvenience. Where did I leave off? Melissa in San Diego, good morning, good early morning to you. Nephi in Knoxville, John in Rhinebeck, Wayne in Port Orchard, Washington. Gregory, how are you feeling? Gregory from Dallas is asking how I'm feeling. Gregory, I would say I'm now like at about 95%, meaning I'm great. I'm good. All is good. Things hang around, still a little congested, all, things you would expect, but nothing that keeps me from working. As a matter of fact, I haven't stopped working the entire time. Even when I thought I sounded like death warmed over, clients were still, they were okay, which right there tells you a lot. Clients don't hear you the same way. Other people don't hear you the same way you hear yourself. So when you feel terrible and you're stuffy and you're recording in your head, it sounds magnified. I'm not saying you sound 100%, but what I'm saying is it's magnified as you hear it in your own head. And I'm trying to, I can't remember a time I've ever had a client say, because I'll send them a recording and say, "What do you think? Get me to record?" I can't remember a time that they haven't said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." Maybe they did, but I can't remember a time offhand. Alex, happy Friday. Jim, good morning. GS in Longview. Let's see here. Stream's moving too fast on me here. Jim in Memphis. Stacia, good morning. John, thank you for the well wishes there. Hey, Denise in Long Island, it's been an amazing week. For all those thinking about Bill's program, I can tell you it works. I booked my first live directed job yesterday. Oh my gosh, hold on. Where'd the bell go? You gotta be kidding me. Did I lose my bell? This is hold on. Is that it? Yeah, it's dark in here. There it is. It's the bell of voiceover success. Denise, that's for you. Congratulations. And thanks for being the voiceover blueprint. And I'm glad you're putting it to work, because that's the thing. Sometimes people get into a training program because it makes them feel like they're making progress. Well, it does if you use it and you do do the things you're taught, which clearly you are. So congrats to you. Uh, there's nothing like that first job, nothing like a first directed session, because at least if you're like me, I was terrified my first directed session. I was so nervous that I would screw it up, which is, when you've done this long enough, you'll realize that's ridiculous, because in my mind, I thought I had to get it right. The first take had to be the take. And after an hour of going over and over and over and again, I realized that's not exactly that's not how it works. But anyway, that's all part of the learning process. And certainly the voiceover blueprint can help you trim off a lot of time, frustration, and money as well, trying to figure out how to do this. Joy, hello to you in cloudy Southfield, Michigan. Fall gets here and I catch a nasty bug myself. Joy, I'm so sorry. I hope you're feeling well soon. Amanda, checking in from Chester Springs, PA. Hey, Mandy, good to see you. Mary, when you started direct marketing, how long did it take to pay off with some decent work? Oh boy, that's a good question. Because I was direct marketing very, very early on. Remember, I've been doing this 18 years, so I'm trying to recollect. Um, So I would say, I was direct marketing within probably a year or 2 of getting started. I was doing anything and everything I could. There wasn't like a roadmap out there, and that's one of the reasons I created the voiceover blueprint. So you have to remember, in 2006 when I started, the landscape wasn't like, today there's like a million people out there. Everybody's got something to say about voiceover, but it wasn't like that back then. Information was not as plentiful and not as confusing, because you didn't have so many different voices saying so many different things either. But I started direct marketing earlier on because I knew that was an effective way. I have a background in marketing and sales, and I just knew that was an effective way for anybody to build a business. So every day I was auditioning like a madman through like online platforms, and I was sending out an email every chance I got. And I would say, well, I can't remember the specifics of it. It's a good question, Mary. But I will say, probably weeks to months for the first jobs to start rolling in. But remember, I was doing high volume too. I was doing a lot of auditions, and I was doing a lot of direct marketing. And I was just using Google. I was just nothing sophisticated, no CRM. I would just Google, video production, and start reaching out to companies all over the world. And I got work with companies all over the world that way too. So, there is no, if you think there's like a silver, and I'm not talking to you, Mary, specifically, but just in general, a lot of people think, well, if I could just find the silver bullet, the thing that if I just press that button, and believe me, I know I've been there too. You think if I could just press that button, the easy button, right? Things are just going to, and there are buttons that need to be pressed, but none of them are the easy button. They all take some, at the very least, take some time. and direct marketing is certainly one of them. But again, I would say it was probably weeks to months before I got my first decent job by doing that. Theo, happy Friday from the kitchen table in lovely Palos Hills, Illinois. I'm not sure there's a Palos Hills anyplace else, but for those not quite sure, a suburb of our wonderful city of Chicago. Ralph, what's going on in Cedar Falls, Iowa? Mary, how often should we invest in performance coaching to stay fresh or learn something new? Good question. I'm asked this often. How often should I get coaching? Well, the answer is as often as you need it. Well, I will expand on that just a little bit. Most people approach it from like a timeline. People will say, "What?" Like, let's say I'll do a coaching session with somebody, and this is very common. They'll say, "I want to do this on a regular basis. Should I do this weekly? Should I do it monthly? How often should I do it?" I don't recommend doing like a scheduled every week or every month. Now, I mean, yeah, from a financial side, from the coach's side, it'd be great to say, "Oh yeah, let's do every month for the next year." But what you should be thinking is this: take the coaching that you get, and when you feel like you've got enough to do something with it, go out and do it. As long as you're growing and moving forward, I don't see the need to go back to the coach. I Here's the way I recommend approaching it. Wait till you stall out or start to go backwards because it happens. I mean, performance coaching, even marketing coaching, things over time you don't even realize it. You'll just start to do things a little bit differently, and then all of a sudden it's not working like it did before, and you need an objective ear and eye to say, well, here's what I see, and here's what you need to do. So take the coaching, go out and do what you're taught, and do that until progress, and you should see progress. And when progress when it slows or stops or you start moving backward, that's when it's time to go back for a checkup. That's how I recommend, um, you know, doing coaching. Theo says, do you like Fridays? Do you like today's message from Bill? I thought you were talking to me, Theo. I was going to say, absolutely. I like Friday. It's my favorite day of the week. If you like today's message from Bill, if so, hit that good old like button. Thank you, Theo. You're such a wordsmith. You find different ways to say the same thing. I love that. I love that. I love that. As a copywriter by trade, I appreciate a good turn of a phrase. Jim, where is a good place to find video producers? I got some on YouTube, but not very many. Google it. Oh, there are tens of thousands of video production companies in the US alone. And when you think about voiceover is a global marketplace. I'm trying to think of all the places that I've recorded just in the past week. I did a thing for Thailand the other day. Now I'm blanking. I think I've done like 2 or 3 outside of the US in the past week. Most of that is Europe, but also, like I said, Thailand, China, Russia, Australia, all over God's green earth. Google it. I mean, literally, that's the way I started building my business, and that's the way I do it. That's my method. Or at least that's the resource to find the information to utilize my method. Jim says, where's a good place to find video Okay, sorry, I just answered that. I'm repeating myself. I'm being redundant. Hello from Dan at Cumming, Georgia. Hello, Dan. Jenna in Orville, Ohio. Jenna, where's Orville? Now, I'm a Buckeye by birth, and that's where I lived for the first 31 years of my life, mostly in the Columbus area. But Orville must be north or south or east or west. It must not be central Ohio because it doesn't ring a bell. Denise is telling Mary that her first live directed session came after a week after an email sent to them. Not typical, but it shows it can happen. Absolutely. Hey, Ben, good afternoon to you from the UK. How quickly in principle could I start making a living on ACX? Is it possible with ACX alone? Thanks. Yeah, Ben, what you're going to find out, first of all, let me say, talk about, is it possible to make a living on ACX? Yeah, you can. But I think what you're going to find out is that once you start to get success on ACX, you'll more quickly accelerate your success by then direct marketing to audiobook publishers. Just Google audiobook publisher. There's a bunch of them out there all over the place. And then once you've got a few books under your belt, you reach out to them, let them know you're experienced and you're available. That's how that's how early on I always had an audiobook in production. That's the way I did it. And I would say, you could, again, depending on how much time you have and where you're at, with your skill and editing and your ability to turn a project around, um, I was making a full-time living within 6 months, but I was a crazy man. You have to understand. I mean, this is all I did. This is all I did, because remember, I'd been downsized from a job. But I would say, if you can put in a decent amount of time, a year, a year and maybe faster. Doug is in Greensboro, North Carolina. Hey, what's going on, Doug? Dreesy, what's going on in Algeria? Thanks for checking in. I started voiceover 5 years ago. Fantastic, and this is the first time I've seen you on the stream. Glad to have you here. If you have been here and maybe you didn't check in or maybe I missed it, my apologies, but, hope you'll come back. Andrew says, "I know only one Orville, and that was on Netflix." Oh, yeah, that's right, I remember that too. Jenna says, "Orville is in Northeast Ohio. Love listening to you." Thank you, Jenna. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time up there. I drive through there going to well, I have a son who lives in Cleveland, so I drive out that way. Vicky and I go out there to visit him. I'll be looking for Orville. Nancy in South Dakota. Hello there. Joel, good morning to you in West Michigan. And Teresa says, "I really like your courses." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That reminds me, let me see how I can do this. I had it in my description below before YouTube tanked my live stream. And that is I've got my DIY training course, my DIY demo training course is on sale right now through Sunday night. And bear with me here just a second. I've got to track down this information. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up here real fast. What's frustrating is that I had all this set up. If you're on my email list, you would have received an email about it. Bear with me just a second. I know this is not very professional for a YouTube video, but I want to get this information to you because the sale is going on through Sunday night, and you can get $100 off the program if you use the code DIY. And this will all make more sense once I can give you. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the program in the description. All right. It's too long to say out loud, so I'm going to put it in the description. You can check it out. It's a recording from a 90-minute workshop that I did recently. But in addition to that, there's 2 bonus videos. It's about 3 hours of training in all. I do an over the shoulder where I create a DIY demo from scratch myself. I take you through the whole process. Going out, I find the script, I record it, I edit it, I show you the whole thing. You watch me just as if you were my voiceover blueprint. You watch me do the entire project. So that's one part of it. The other is I record a critique of 10 of my students who have done their DIY demo. So they do the DIY demo, and then I give them feedback. And so you can listen to that. There's a lot to learn, a treasure trove of information in that. And again, that program is only available up on sale up until this Friday evening, I think midnight. So watch for that. As soon as this is done, I'll go back in and paste that link into the live stream. I'm sorry, into the description. Few more folks checking in. Joel, what's going on in West Michigan? Hey, Bill, trying to get a full understanding of noise floor. I get that minus 60 dB or quieter is better, but what does that mean in terms of gain on the mic itself? I use Pro Tools. Oh boy, use the most complicated DAW known to man, but God bless you. I mean, if you know the program, use the program. And it's a great program, especially if you're a music producer. But a lot of moving parts there. Here's what I will say, noise floor. To keep it very simple, when you're setting the gain on your microphone, set the gain so that you're peaking at about minus 3 dB. That's the way I do it. So in other words, I want the gain on this set so that excuse me, on my DAW, I'm peaking at about the level I'd want to send it out to a client. Okay. Then you sit quietly and hold your breath for about 10 seconds and then record and then get your room tone there. Because thing is, if your gain's turned down real low, it's going to bring your noise floor down. Obviously, if it's turned up high, it'll turn it up high. So what you need a reference point. Reference point is where your audio is peaking at minus 3 dB when you're recording. That's your reference point. Came from music production, now getting my wife into VO, never really paid much attention to low noise floor since it was hidden by all the instruments. I know, right? It's a whole yeah, and I came from radio, and honestly, I don't think I ever gave a second thought to noise floor. And I didn't even know that I could have told you what noise floor meant, and I was in radio for like 24 years. But and you get into voiceover, all of a sudden, everything becomes amplified and more important. Okay, let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, guys. Hey, thank you for the questions. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, I'm going to put the link to that program on how to that DIY demo workshop. So for those of you who haven't created it yet, or you need help doing a better one, or you just want some further insight, that will be available. Have a wonderful weekend, guys, and we'll talk to you on Monday morning.